All right, get the secret history of Leviticus. Now, this is written by a liberal Bible scholar who's doing some major theological gymnastics,
Yes.
is what I would say, to try to get Leviticus 18 to justify homosexuality.
Get it to not say what it clearly says, basically.
Right,
I mean, it reminds me of that scripture. Woe to those who call good evil and evil good.
Yeah.
Because Leviticus 18 is obviously very plainly against
Right.
homosexual behavior.
18:22.
So he is rewriting it.
Well, what he's saying is an editor rewrote parts of Leviticus.
A much later editor.
Yeah, why don't you explain, because you had done a lot of research on this.
Yeah, so what he's arguing is that the original chapter 18 of Leviticus didn't have verse 22, which is the verse that says, a man shall not lie with a man, it is an abomination. He says that was added in much, much later. And his reason for that is partially because ancient cultures of the time, there's no prohibitions against homosexuality in any of the ancient law codes. He doesn't believe Leviticus came from God through Moses. He believes it's just the work of men. So if none of the other cultures have it, why would Leviticus have it? Because it's just borrowed from other cultures, right? So he thinks this verse was added into Leviticus later. And he also thinks, because chapter 18 deals with a lot of different sexual issues, including incest. And there's two verses, verses 7 and 14, that talk about, like, here's verse 7. The nakedness of your father and the nakedness of your mother you shall not uncover. She is your mother, you shall not uncover her nakedness. So what he's saying is originally the verse just had the first half, and it was forbidding homosexual incest with your father as well as heterosexual incest with your mother. And then a scribe later came in and added the second part to make it sound like it's only talking about the mother so that it would look like all homosexuality is forbidden. But what he's neglecting to realize is that, particularly if you go back and you look in Genesis, first of all, we find the origin of marriage there. Marriage is between one man and one woman for life. And second, when you read through, there's the account of Reuben, one of Jacob's sons, who sleeps with his father's concubine. And when it comes time for Jacob to give the blessing to all the sons, he doesn't bless Reuben. Why? He tells Reuben, it's because you defiled me. Reuben didn't do anything to his father per se. What he did was to his father's concubine. And yet Jacob claims, you defiled me by that act, because we're one flesh. Genesis 2:24 tells us, when you get married, you're one flesh. So you do something to the wife, you're doing it to the husband as well. So that's what the author of Leviticus, Moses, is getting.
But you know what? I'm going to say something from a whole different perspective here. If you were to show this article to a lot of conservative pastors in our churches, they would say, well, this is terrible. You can't go in there and just say, you know, an editor did this and changed this and it doesn't mean that and so on. You can't do that. You can't take ideas from the outside and then go in and say, you know, this is wrong the way it's written and all the rest of it. And yet, the majority of them, if you said, what about Genesis? Are they 6 ordinary days in a young earth? And so on, they'd say, oh no, because of science, it doesn't mean 6 days. And oh no, you can add evolution in here. You realize, in a sense, they're doing the same in Genesis as this liberal scholar's doing in Leviticus?
Yeah,
well,
that's
and
a good
I
point.
say too, it's not just Leviticus 18. He acts like that's the only verse in the Bible that deals with homosexuality. I'm like, you need to read the Bible more, because there's Romans 1. There's Genesis 1 that talks about God making a male and a female. Genesis 2 where he unites them in marriage. Matthew 19 where Jesus affirms that marriage. I mean, over and over again, it is clear from Scripture. You can't just take one verse and talk about that. And you have to look at all of Scripture. And obviously, again, he has no evidence. I mean, absolutely no evidence to back up
It's just his opinion that he wants to make the Bible say what he wants it to say.
There's a comment here. At first I thought they were talking about me. It says, how cute.
They're not talking about you.
I think they were talking about the clapping baby.
Then as I read down, it was about the 16-month-old baby that claps when the audience claps. So I was really disappointed that wasn't talking about me. So,
okay.
Somebody said here, Preacher Avery. Oh, there we are. So.
Yeah, and I know we're having a blog about that particular article, and I know that Dr. Albert Mohler at Southern Seminary also wrote on that particular article. So,
what's his blog called? Dr. Mohler's blog?
Albert Mohler. Just type in Albert Mohler; it'll come up. M-O-H-L-E-R.
The Briefing is his show, but I don't know if his blog has the same name as that or not.
So lots of good information about that.